Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Thomas Paletti.
On your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And our first two guests this morning are from Henry Mayo Hospital, Dorinda Perez and Renee Leon. And we're talking about breast cancer, correct?
Yes, it's October, and this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we celebrate that at Henry Mayo. And in addition to that, we do a month full of activities for fundraising, and on top of that, a lot of awareness. And every year we feature a patient that provides the courage to give a testimonial. And this year, that patient is Dorinda.
Really wonderful.
Oh, so you're a nurse at Henry Mayo,
I am.
and you've survived breast cancer.
Yes,
That's awesome. And was it at the Henry Mayo program that you went through this?
it was. I was a nurse working there, and I discovered a lump in my right breast and went to see my primary care doctor. He referred me over to the Sheila Arvilos Breast Imaging Center. I managed to get in there that afternoon. They worked their magic and were able to fit me in, and I was diagnosed very quickly. From there, I had surgery with Dr. Amanda Woodworth. I had chemotherapy and radiation, and 5 months later, I was well enough to go back to work. And, throughout this whole time, I really kind of wondered why this was happening to me. I was in very good health. I didn't smoke, I hardly drank, I exercised, I ate well. And it was very confusing to me. And then about a week after I came back to work, I received a call from Dr. Woodworth, and she asked me if I would like to work at the Breast Imaging Center temporarily as a nurse navigator. So that really became my why I went through all of this, so that I had an opportunity now to pay it forward to the women coming into us, so I can, provide support and encouragement and a hand to hold when things got very stressful.
Sure.
Yes, especially because you went through it.
Absolutely. And I do have the opportunity to say, I understand. I understand
So
what you're going through.
I'm just curious, are you BRCA or no?
I am not.
You're not.
No.
So you don't check
What
any of the boxes.
I do not. No.
So there you go.
Yeah.
What does that mean, BRCA?
It's a gene that predicts with a certain degree of accuracy whether you're going to get breast cancer or not.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Does that
Genetic profiling.
So there are a large proportion of women who there is no rhyme or reason for getting breast cancer, which is why it's so important to have those mammograms every year. Early detection, early treatment is what saves lives, and that's really what we want to advocate here.
Yeah, and for sure the self-exam.
Absolutely.
You found it yourself.
I did, in the shower.
Yeah, and you don't have to be a nurse in order to know how to do a self-breast exam, right?
Absolutely not. At the Sheila Arvilos Breast Center, we do have actually a chart that you can put in your shower, right on that shower head.
Wow.
So that you have something to refer to.
I like
so you
that.
won't miss anything. So if anybody needs one, please come by the Sheila Arvilos Breast Center for one of those charts.
That's
It's
very
great.
interesting.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, critical. I mean, you're there anyway, right? So why not check it out?
We also have the capability of doing some genetic testing there at the Sheila Arvilos Breast Center. Anyone who gets a mammogram there has access to that. So you can find out what your risk is, and from there get that information, get the education, and do what you need to do in order to get that early treatment if needed.
Yeah. And ideally, the best case scenario is don't get cancer. The next best option is get it taken care of fast.
Absolutely. And you definitely want to go to a place where the people are comforting and experienced. Our radiologist is board certified in breast radiology. Our technologists have been there for 20 plus years. And I think that really speaks to the success
Yeah.
of that program and of that center. Because
Well, it
we've
worked
been
for
there so
you.
long. Right? It worked
So
for me.
that's it. That's it in a nutshell. Like, I don't really trust anybody who hasn't already gone through it, right? So having you there as an advocate, I think it's as important as, all of the technology. Having somebody who's actually been through the fire and knows how to get through it.
I sure hope so. I mean, I really feel like I can help the women who've been there,
Yeah.
to listen to their stories, to calm their fears. And that's helped me as well. I mean, it's been life-changing for me as well.
Yeah, for sure. In a good way.
In a good
and
way.
now, like you say, pay it forward.
Right.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And-
I whoever hired you over there, brilliant. So, okay, and I haven't heard a word from you, dude.
I'm just listening.
What's going on? So
have-
tell us about all the programs that are happening this month at Henry Mayo.
Yeah, so we have philanthropy is what actually started the Sheila Arvilos Breast Center. It's called that because a woman lost her battle to breast
I
cancer,
know.
and her name.
I knew her. I knew her very well.
Yes,
Roberta
and
Vilos.
yeah, no, Sheila
Sheila.
Vilos.
I
That's
mean,
okay.
Sheila.
And so it started with a group of women, particularly one in particular who was brave enough to step forward and tell her story and get the community to make some donations, including one very large donation that started the center. And then every year since then, we have been having events. In the past, it was the Crawford Fleming golf tournament. And now what we've done is we partner with local businesses in our community that give a percentage of their sales, or they have one event on a particular night. So all this month, if you go to Valencia Car Wash or Canyon Car Wash, a percentage of those proceeds go back to the Sheila Arvilos Breast Center. If you go have a Sheila Martini at Salt Creek Grill, we get a percentage of those
What's in that
proceeds.
Sheila Martini? I gotta know.
It's absolutely delicious.
It's pink.
Really? Because I'm going there for my birthday.
There you
next
go.
Wednesday.
All right.
Yes. And so when you're out, not only are you supporting our local businesses, but you're supporting your local hospital. And the Sheila Arvilos Breast Center has been doing that genetic counseling and services for, I believe, over 5 years, where at some places it's just getting started. So we've always been on the cutting edge of things, and I think it's because we've always had the great support of our community. Next week, I'd love to invite you to our Bingo or Bust event that we're having, but we're completely sold out.
Pun intended.
We've sold out 2 months ago. That's because we have an amazing community here in Santa Clarita that
yes.
really rallies around our breast cancer survivors. And like Dorinda mentioned earlier, it's all going back to the same place because we really want people to get their yearly mammograms, and if cancer
Yeah.
is detected, to detect it early.
I got mine.
Good.
Got mine a few months ago, and I have beaten cancer twice myself. Not breast cancer. I had lymphoma.
Oh,
And I beat it when I was 75, and I beat it when I was 85. And I told my kids, if I get it when I'm 95, I'll beat it again.
and with that attitude, I believe you will as well.
Oh, yeah,
Love
I
that.
will. I absolutely will. And I feel good. And next Wednesday, I'll be 88. Yes. And I'd better not get cancer again. But I found it because I had indigestion.
Oh,
And I've never had indigestion. And I thought, something's not right. So I went to my healthcare doctor, my regular doctor, and he took a CAT scan and said it's cancer and referred me to Dr. Black at UCLA. And I've been going to him. And he's seen me on both occasions. And I still have my thing here what do you call it?
Port.
Your port?
My port, yeah. I haven't had that taken out yet. I keep thinking, yeah, take it out. And I think, no, maybe not. Because if I've had it twice, the chances are I can get it again,
Well, I think
So-
your story is very much, I think what Dorinda and myself and everyone says at Henry Mayo, which is, you know your body best, and if you have, listen to your gut.
That's very true.
And put yourself first. And so, that's really our reminder here. You can
Absolutely.
find out all of our list of activities this month at henrymayo.com. But really, get your mammograms and encourage your friends and your daughters, your wives, everyone to continue to get their mammograms yearly.
Now, do you have men who get breast cancer?
We do,
You do. Mm-hmm. So the message needs to go out to men also.
definitely. And usually men will have, maybe some redness or some nipple discharge. We don't expect them to get a mammogram every year. That's not advised, but certainly they can get breast cancer.
Interesting.
So besides, the genetic testing and the mammogram, most people are aware of that. Are there any, blood tests? Is this going to show up in any other way?
Usually the gold standard is the mammogram. If something looks unclear, then they can have additional imaging, such as a diagnostic mammogram or an ultrasound. Sometimes they are also referred for a breast MRI.
Right.
So for our patients who have, let's just say, BRCA1 or BRCA2, they will get mammograms every 6 months, or so every year, So it would be a mammogram, 6 months after that an MRI, 6 months after that a mammogram. So every 6 months they're doing something.
So nothing on blood tests. This is going to pass all the blood tests. You wouldn't know it if you had it.
Correct.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That is extremely interesting.
And you personally found yours on a self-exam. How many people come to you suspecting that, hey, I might have something here based on that self-exam?
Quite a few people do, but we also catch a lot on the screening mammogram. So,
And
you know,
they
it's
didn't
both.
know. They didn't know. And can I, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. When you find it, do you automatically ask, have you been doing regular self-exams?
Yes.
And what do they say?
I'm not with the technologists. They usually will ask that. So I'm not sure of that answer.
I just want to know,
Yeah.
how many times do you find something that they were doing regular exams and they didn't find it themselves?
I mean, honestly, I would say that most people who do their own self breast exam find something.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why I say that is because if you are doing it every month, you know when there's a change.
Yeah.
And you know that something is not quite right. If you never do it, you would have no idea
Exactly.
that anything's wrong.
Right,
I had
right.
no symptoms.
Right.
Right? I felt great up
Yep.
until I found that.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, you're not going to have symptoms from this until it's probably too late.
Correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the scariest thing. That
Right.
might be the scariest part about the whole thing. Mm-hmm. You don't know until, by the time you know, there's usually not a whole lot that can be done.
Right. We're really lucky that the treatments now are much better than they used to be. And I have to say that having cancer has really given me some clarity, if anything, right? It does make you kind of reevaluate your life and where you've been and where you want to be and who you want to spend your time with, right?
Absolutely.
Very true.
And what do you want to do
Absolutely.
moving forward? And I've really committed myself to finding joy in every day.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's it. Okay, so what do you see as far as the advancements? You said there have been a lot of advancements. I'd like to know, what does that look like from when you were the patient to where you are now and where you see that going?
I will tell you that we used to have 2D mammogram. Now we have 3D mammogram. So it is an extra image that will take a picture kind of on the backside so that you get more of the breast tissue involved in that mammogram. And that's really very essential right
Yeah,
now.
you're right. 3 different areas.
Correct.
I remember that now. Because
Yeah.
I thought, what?
Right. So it's not just a flat surface that you're looking
No.
at, right? You're looking at more of a 3D
The
image.
side. Yeah, I remember that.
Right.
Because I kept thinking, oh, ouch, ouch, ouch.
And I'll say personally, from getting my own breast exams there at the Sheila R. Vilas Breast Center, I think you mentioned the years of experience that some of the techs that have been there. I mean, a lot of us know them, by name, and they're the reason why, a lot of people keep coming back because they're so great at it that I don't have that experience of, the ouches, and I try to say that I think with there's more curved paddles we've instituted in there and other things, but I do think it's the tech that really does help get you situated to make it, least painful as possible. And I think they do a really good job there, great job.
They have a way that they know how to position you for the picture that they want to make it less painful. So I think that helps with that. Chemotherapy also has changed recently. Now we have actual specific protocols for what kind of breast cancer you have based on hormone receptors. Even radiation. My mother had radiation years ago, and I was terrified to do it based on how she came out of it.
Yeah.
It's so much different now. You do have to go for an amount of time, but you're literally in there for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you go because it's targeted
Yeah.
now. So it's so much better.
Now, getting back to the Sheila Vilas, how long has that organization been in business? Because I knew Sheila,
Sheila Vilas Breast Center opened in 2002.
2002, that's right. When did she pass away? It was in the late 90s.
I was going to say maybe
Wasn't it?
1999
Or 2000, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I should know
it's
that.
somewhere in there. And I also knew Roberta Vilas also. And Tom, I think, was his name.
Yes, that is Roberta's ex-husband, yes.
Yeah.
And we have the Roberta G. Vilos cardiovascular services.
Interesting. Yeah, they've really left their mark on this community. Thank goodness.
Definitely.
Because
so grateful to them.
otherwise you'd have to go down to the San Fernando Valley,
Yes.
And having that organization up here is actually, it's a lifesaver for women. It really is.
Thank you. I mean, I firmly believe that, and I'm so proud of our hospital, our community, everything that we've been able to do together. And then, just a few years ago, we partnered with Keck Medicine of USC to bring that partnership and physicians here in Santa Clarita. So things what Dorinda just mentioned, she's able to receive her chemotherapy and her radiation right here in town.
Yes.
And
And that's so important. It really is.
Definitely.
And it had to happen. I mean, with as large as this community, the Santa Clarita Valley, it's enormous. And there are so many people up here. And so many seniors also.
Definitely.
I mean, we have a large number of seniors. And do you get many seniors who find that they have breast cancer?
We get some seniors who we find with breast cancer, and we don't want our seniors to think that they need to stop getting mammograms at age 70. There is no age limit.
Absolutely.
Keep coming in to get them because there's always treatment.
Yeah, I come in every year and get mine. I think I got mine in, I think it was May or June of this year. And everything was fine.
Good. We
So-
definitely want to get to a point where no woman ever dies from breast cancer again. The statistic now is 1 in 8 women in their lifetime will get breast cancer. That seems very high to me. But if we can keep with the message that early detection and early treatment really is going to be the key, that's the important part of this message.
Yes, I would certainly agree with that. And I know when I had my first cancer, I was almost 4th stage when I had that indigestion. I was late 3rd stage, and I was extremely lucky. extremely lucky. And then, of course, getting it a second time. Okay, if I get it a third, I'll beat it then.
Okay, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. At Henry Mayo, we've got a lot of events, and the best way for people to find out is just go to...
henrymayo.com.
There you go. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Dorinda.
Thank you.
And, it's inspiring. I'm so happy that you spent this time with us and shared your journey. And I hope it keeps going from here. You're listening to the Senior Hour, KHTS, FM 98.1, AM 1220, hometownstation.com.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Pilecki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And our guest now is the one and only Cardon Ellis from Unipest.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, you tell us.
I'm just excited to be here.
Yes.
You guys got me double mic'd up today. I feel like,
Well,
which
you
one am I
better
talking
You
into
better behave yourself.
So if you can still hear me, I feel like I'm at a press conference with the senior citizens of Santa Clarita. It's like, what are we going to talk about? We could, the AARP building has a wild infestation. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't right now, but that'd be kind of fun if it did.
Oh, it would be?
Yeah, totally. So anyway, yeah, I'm stoked to be here. What's going on? Long time no see.
Well, I know that. And my son bought a package of sticky stuff and is putting it around my kitchen because we've seen roaches.
Get out.
Tiny, but teeny tiny ones.
And you did not call me?
Well,
I'm leaving.
I didn't think
No.
it was, I smashed them and that was it. But I've only seen
If
them.
you see one, there's like 10,000 more.
Well, that's what the kids said.
Do you want to start knowing some bad stats? Good news or bad news? Which one do you want, Barbara?
Bad stats?
Statistics.
Yes,
Sorry.
I know. I know that.
Okay, cool.
But I'm wondering what the bad stats are.
They say for every one you see, there's 48 to 64 that you don't. And usually by the time you see a cockroach in your kitchen, unfortunately the cockroaches that infest kitchens are actually, they're a special breed that we have here in Southern California that you bring from takeout food or from boxes at the store or from packaged goods. They're called German cockroaches. First off, was it bigger than the last digit of your pinky or smaller than the last digit of your pinky?
Smaller.
Ooh, that's bad news.
Unless my daughter found bigger ones.
So with roaches, believe it or not, the bigger the better. Okay, so the bigger they are, the easier they are to kill. Like if somebody calls me, you're like, oh my gosh, there was this huge roach in my kitchen, and it's like the size of their thumb. Okay, awesome. Those are American cockroaches.
Yeah.
They're oriental cockroaches. They're a type of exterior cockroach that really only comes inside if it's heavily motivated by temperature or by water. And one or two sprays, those things are gone. It's not a big deal. The German cockroaches, those things are hardcore. They double their population basically every 11 days.
Okay.
Oh, that's not good. For those that are listening on the radio, she just drew a small little cockroach body that is probably only about a 1/4 inch in length, which is the size of a juvenile German cockroach. And this is kind of an unfortunate part of our food chain. We used to have in our food supply a lot of pesticides used in many steps along the way. The food delivery trucks would get dusted with like deltamethrin dust or different kinds of dust throughout the 70s and 80s and 90s that would keep one company's possibly contaminated with cockroach eggs boxes from getting into another company's, or else ones from the factory from spreading to ones to the packaging place or whatever, The delivery trucks used to be dusted. There used to be much more robust pest control in a lot of the factories, the production facilities, so on and so forth. A lot of that's either been kind of culturally outlawed or else actually just legally outlawed or just made cost prohibitive. So it's great to buy organic. I try and buy organic as often as I can. You want to be eating the healthiest, best possible stuff you can, all right? But at the same time, pesticides were invented for a reason, And unfortunately, in a lot of boxes underneath the flaps, cockroaches can eat the glue that keeps the boxes together. So when you're really tempted to come home with a bunch of groceries and then just like leave the box on your countertop, you might accidentally be bringing into your house some cockroach eggs or some actual live cockroaches that will crawl out of it at night. The average restaurant, they say, accidentally imports 7 to 8 cockroach eggs per day per shipment. And so that's why you always see in restaurants, there's a big pile of cardboard outside their back door, because they'll razor blade them apart and they'll try and get them out of the restaurant in case there's some other, unnecessary stowaway involved. And so if you're seeing that, that's bad news.
So when they ask at that big box store, do you want a box? When you're checking out in, like, let's just say Costco or Sam's, do you want a box? Like, they'll give you a big empty box that they got something in so you can have it easier go out to your car. Yeah, pass on that because it's almost guaranteed.
If you use it, just make sure you dispose of it afterwards. It's very tempting to want to then just stick it in your pantry because you're like, oh, sweet, I got a great deal on, I just bought an entire tub of Slim Jims. Like, they were going for 17 cents at the grocery outlet, and they were the monster big Slim Jims. And I don't care if the expiration date on those things is tomorrow, because in the zombie apocalypse, that thing will be good 5 years from now.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't admit to eating Slim Jims in front of Dr. Thomas Palucky here, because that's just shameful.
I can tell you, they're, first of all, they're not that bad.
What's a Slim Jim?
It's like a jerky stick.
You don't know what a Slim Jim is?
No.
Yeah.
Do you ever see those commercials with
snap into
a Slim
Randy
Jim
Savage.
with Randy Savage, like the guy that's all pinked out? He's a professional wrestler, like the real kind, not like that fisticuff stuff that you did in England.
No, I don't think
but
I've
like
ever. A Slim Jim? That's food?
It's a jerky stick. It's not really food. But it's okay. So jerky.
I'm bringing you one next week, and you can try it on air. It's salted jerky, super tasty. It's industrialized American goo that has been hardened into a stick.
No, thank you.
And
No, thank you. That doesn't sound good at all.
wait until you snap
But
into
the
a Slim
ones
Jim.
you like, the ones you brought here, they're actually good. They're grass-fed beef, and there's no byproduct. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, they're good. But you're not going to find those for 17 cents.
Yeah, so anyway, these guys right here, German cockroaches, they're bad news because they come in on your food supply. They're a restaurant roach where it's actually really funny. You might appreciate this. They're not from Germany. They're actually an Asiatic restaurant roach. But in the 1920s, post-World War I, the Frenchman that was classifying all cockroaches that were infesting human structures had such a beef with the Germans that this was the number one roach that would infest his favorite French restaurants. So he called them German cockroaches because he hated them so badly. But they're actually from Asia. And now they're in the food supply. So if they get in your kitchen, you want to look underneath your little, the lips on where you have like the tile or the granite. In any cracks or crevices, especially underneath where the drawers come out, you have to spray. I have a whole video if you go to unipest.com on how to spray your own residential kitchen to get rid of German cockroaches. But you need to spray once a week for almost 6 weeks to interrupt the breeding cycle, because by the time you actually see them that size, it means they're hatching from these egg capsules that the gravid females carry around on their butts. Just like you were pregnant with your lovely daughter that oftentimes greets me when I come to the radio station. Gravid females, which are the type of that's the name for a pregnant cockroach, is a gravid female. They carry around this little capsule that's called an egg capsule, and when it's time to give birth, what they do is they actually just kerplump, they just drop the egg capsule, and then in 2 to 3 days, the babies inside hatch out of that capsule of eggs, and there's usually about 32 to 64 baby cockroaches that come out of there.
Well, then where are they in my house? I've only seen them in the kitchen, and they're very fast. They almost fly.
Yes.
They move so fast.
You try and go to squish them with your finger, and they dodge your finger, and they're gone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So, that's because they're young and they're spry and they're fast, right? That's part of the reason why they can survive so well. And they're crack and crevice dwellers. You have to think of it this way. If I were to turn your house upside down and it were to rain on your house and there was no bottom part of your house, where would the rain settle? And those are the places where the German cockroaches settle. So if you were to flip your kitchen upside down and then just hose it down and then let it dry, what's the last place that would dry? Probably in the cracks and crevices and the lips underneath the countertops, in between where, the drawers meet pieces of wood. That's where they're going to be. And it's crazy because you can see their antenna. I'm going to show you a picture, actually, because we deal with this
that
all
wouldn't
the time.
work in my kitchen because I have lights.
Yeah, the back lip of the sink underneath is like the perfect. It's like that is mecca for any critter. So under your sink, your kitchen sink.
Pull open the drawer.
Yeah, but not the part that you can see. Behind the sink on that back wall, up in that back corner is where you're going to find most of your critters.
Oh, so maybe we need to put some of that stuff in there.
Well, the only problem is the stuff that you're putting out is an old school fix that was developed in the 20s. It used to be that pest control guys would take jelly or they'd take any kind of sugary substance and then they would mix it with boric acid powder. And then once they mix it with boric acid, they would stick it out and then whatever roaches were there would come and eat it. And then, the idea is that hopefully it then kills them, right? However, you can only kill what comes and actually eats there, right? There's now better products where they'll eat, and then with the store-bought products, one roach comes, it eats, then one roach dies. With the professional products, one roach comes, one roach eats, and then it takes it back and it mutually feeds and digests with others and then spreads it that way. So much so that like one infested cockroach can then mutually feed and digest with probably another at least 2 or 3, if you're lucky, 7 or 8. And they do actually eat their own feces. You have to take advantage of that. But the young ones, that little baby that you drew right there, one of the very first things that baby does in order to get the correct bacteria and protozoa in its own stomach is to eat its mother's feces or its brothers and sisters' feces. And the bacteria that they expel and the protozoa and all that other stuff actually makes it into their digestive tract so they can start eating the food debris that falls on the floor. They love eating, if you have tile, where food debris falls in the grout in the tile. They love eating that. And what some restaurants used to do back in the day was they would actually mix boric acid with their mop water so that whatever small microscopic food debris was left on the ground after sweeping and mopping that the roaches would come out and eat during the day, it would all of a sudden be contaminated with an insecticide, and then they would eat it, and then your own mop water became the insecticide. Yeah, like humankind has been fighting this species of roach for millennia, and this species of roach has adapted to surviving with humankind for millennia. One of the greatest battles that you will ever have in your life. Young Barbara, I commission you, Knight of the Senior Citizens of Santa Clarita. You must go fight the dragon of the German cockroach, and I will give you the sword of truth and pest control justice to wield against this formidable enemy. Because it requires a lot of work. You're going to be taking apart cabinets. You're going to be opening them up. It's going to be fun. I hope your kids really love you and want to pay a visit this weekend. I'll tell you everything you got to do.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Or you can just call Unipest and have them do it.
that is an option.
Or you can call the professionals.
What does that mean? Do I have to leave the house for
No,
a day?
no,
or-
heavens, no. You can watch us. You can joke with us. You can get a glass of water with ice cubes and those cool little umbrellas and just make drinks for us while we're working. Fortunately, it doesn't stink too badly. All the chemicals are odorless. It's just labor intensive. That's all it is, because they can sense things, and they're really good. How much time do you say we have?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. In a nutshell, just like some kids with like autism or something feel more comfortable when they're hugged, and so the teachers will have like those little hug brace that you put on them. German cockroaches feel the most comfortable when their thorax and their back are wedged in something. So they like wedging themselves in cracks. That's when they actually begin to metabolize and they begin to actually digest what they've eaten. And so they purposely shove themselves into the cracks and crevices of your kitchen, and that's also where they hide from predators that want to eat them.
Okay, the other one I have found was in my bathroom floor, coming out underneath the whatever you call it, the edging around there.
Yeah.
But these are longer.
Yeah, that's
These
the
are-
female version. The
And
males
they-
are short and fat. The females are longer.
And they look like that.
Oh, cool. Well, then we're going to have a lot to talk about after the break. Oh, this is going to be fun. I'm going to show you pictures in the break, and it's going to be an education.
Okay, well, my daughter needs to, after we get out, let's go talk with my daughter. 'cause
Oh,
she
it'll be
says-
fun.
Cockroach
says-
sex ed when we get back from the senior hour, KHTS FM 98.1 AM 1220 hometown station.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Palaki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Cardon Ellis of Unipest.
Yeah.
And we're talking about roaches. Brr. Horrible things. And I have your number.
Yeah, that's
607
right. Whoa. That's my cell phone number. You've got my business number. It's
Now, wait a
bug
minute,
7575.
What was that again?
It's 661-284-7575.
Talk about confusion. I'm getting too old for this.
Well, you are the perfect person
Totally too
for the senior
older.
hour. Yeah, no, look, you're not old till you start acting like it. And look who you're hanging out with. You're killing roaches by day. You're radio programming by night. You got game, Barbara. You got total game.
Okay. All right. But I need to put this other number in here. No, but I can call you on that number.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, okay.
And we're gonna go roach hunting.
Roach hunting is right. Well, you won't have to hunt very much because they're in my kitchen.
Oh yeah.
And boy, they're fast. I keep trying to do this, and they're gone. Not underneath my hand either.
Have you considered one of those cool blowtorches that you get from Home Depot? No, I'm just kidding. No, I would not recommend that at all. Actually.
No, I wouldn't think so. Not a blowtorch. Maybe outside on the driveway.
Yeah, so what's really interesting is I had a restaurant that had a horrible infestation of that. And it was really funny. One of the cleanest looking restaurants, but their kitchen was horrible. And no, I will not be giving you the name, and they're out of business anyway. But they did have a portion of their restaurant that served, let's just say it was, I don't want to give away the place, but they had a kind of like a live deli or like sushi or fresh prepared meals bar where like they make it right in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know those little blue torches for making live like fondue?
Yeah.
Well, so bad was their infestation and the owner was so negligent that the guys started showing up early, and then they would use
Torch
those
it.
blow torches underneath where they would make and roll the sushi, or where they chop up the tri-tip, or where they do whatever. And the underside of the refrigeration mechanism and the underside of the food prep area was so completely filled with cockroaches that they would take those blue torches that you use to like if you want to.
Brulee.
Yeah, creme brulee, like, or if you want to just like torch the top of something to make it crispy, they would take those and they'd put a new butane thing on it because they use butane, and they would, and then you would hear them. They make a noise like a little.
Yeah, popcorn.
And then I could always tell when they did it, because when I finally was contracted to go in, I was like, I was seeing all of these roaches that had deformed wings, char marks. I was like, what's going on here? Like, are these things like, was there a nuclear bomb dropped or what? And then finally, I had to take Google Translate to speak in whatever the language was. I think it was a really cool Laotian guy or something like that. But I'd use Google Translate to translate and ask him, like what he was seeing, what kind of cockroach activity was there. And then so with Google Translate, I was able to talk to one of the cooks. And then he finally let me in. He's like, oh, yeah, we finally just took matters into our own hands. And by matters, I mean a blowtorch. You know what I'm saying?
Christmas.
And that's what we were doing every morning when we walked in early. So, yeah. Hey, by the way, they had an A.
What?
Yeah, they had an A.
You know,
Every
the
horribly cockroach
placard
infested.
in the window that tells you the grade of the restaurant, you know, from the public health.
Oh, I didn't know what
Yeah.
you were referring to. Yeah,
Every horrendously cockroach infested restaurant I've ever been in Santa Clarita that has just been like, I'm pretty sure they accidentally served a roach in somebody's burrito or something. Actually, I shouldn't say burrito because most of the Mexican restaurants actually have had a really good track rating with me. But like the most horrendous infestations have always had an A, and the two cleanest restaurants that I've ever inspected or ever treated both had a B.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
That's crazy.
Yeah, seriously. It's pretty wild. So I don't tell people what the dirtiest restaurants are in Santa Clarita because, you know, I'm a classy guy. Okay. But,
Really?
Don't
but
need
I will
that.
tell you the cleanest. I will tell you the cleanest ones. That's what I always tell people is what the cleanest ones are. So, yeah.
Well, I'll find out when we get off air.
Oh, yeah, no way, man. This is the senior hour, not SCV gossip hour. Although that's a great idea for a show.
Yes,
In fact,
it
if you
is.
want to do that one, I would do that one with you.
Well, you'll have to talk to the boss lady on that.
Okay, cool.
She's
Awesome.
the one who does all that.
All right, Cardon. So once again, give us your contact.
661-BUG-7575. That is 661-284-7575.
Beautiful. And it's Unipest. And you work mostly in the green
Oh, yeah,
zone.
yeah. I'm a
Mostly-
local boy, man.
Yeah,
Hard
yeah.
high graduate.
Awesome. You've been listening to the Senior Hour KHTS FM 98.1 AM 1220 HometownStation.com. We're brought to you by Comfort Keepers and Providence Holy Cross. Now go out and enhance your quality of life.